Have you ever wondered why the richest man in the world seems to be frantically preparing for the end of the world? Have you noticed that the man who builds electric cars and rockets is suddenly speaking less about technology and more about the collapse of civilization? Look at the headlines. Look at the warnings coming from Elon Musk. He is building bunkers. He is warning of population collapse. He is warning of World War III. He is warning of a mind virus that destroys societies. Is it possible that he knows something we don't? Or is it possible that he is playing a role that was written for him decades ago by a blind mystic in the mountains of Bulgaria who never owned a computer, never saw a rocket, and never heard the name Tesla? What if I told you that Baba Vanga, the woman who predicted the fall of the Soviet Union and the attacks of September 11th, left a specific, chilling prophecy about an Iron Man? A figure who would rise in the 21st century, a man of metal and lightning who would attempt to bridge the earth and the stars and who would try to save the great Western Empire from its own destruction. But here is the terrifying part. Her prophecy doesn't end with him saving us. It ends with a warning. She warned that while the Iron Man looks to the stars, the empire beneath his feet will fracture, the currency will turn to dust, and the sky will turn red with the fires of war. Today, we are going to peel back the layers of this lost prophecy. We are going to look at the year 2025 and 2026, not through the lens of the mainstream media who are lying to you, but through the eyes of history's greatest mystic. We are going to connect the dots between the chaos in the US economy, the division in the streets, and the shadow wars exploding across the globe. By the end of this video, you will understand why the billionaire class is building bunkers, and you will know exactly what you need to do to prepare. Before we unlock these 5 terrifying predictions, I need you to do one thing. The algorithm tries to suppress this kind of information. They call it fear-mongering, but we call it preparation. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, hit that like button right now. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Do not let them hide the truth from you. Join our community of truth seekers. Now let's talk about the source. Who is Baba Vanga? To the uninitiated, Vangelia Gushtarova was just a blind herbalist from a tiny village in Bulgaria. But to the world's intelligence agencies, to the Soviet leaders who visited her in secret, and to the millions who have tracked her words, she is the Nostradamus of the Balkans. She lost her sight in a mysterious tornado as a child, but she claimed that when her physical eyes closed, a third eye opened. She didn't just guess the future, she lived it. Critics tried to debunk her, but how do they explain her accuracy? In 1989, she shouted that the American brethren will fall after being attacked by the steel birds. 12 years later, the Twin Towers fell. She predicted the Kursk submarine disaster when everyone laughed at the idea of a city named Kursk being underwater. She predicted the rise of ISIS, the Great Muslim War, and even the specific characteristics of the 44th US president. She hasn't just been lucky, she has been right. And right before she died, she spoke of the timeline we are living in right now. She spoke of a time when miracles become science, when man tries to merge with machine, and when the great eagle of the West faces its final reckoning. This brings us to the first pillar of her final warning. The prophecy of the divisive leader and the Iron Man's futile attempt to intervene. Baba Vanga spoke in metaphors. She often mentioned a man of commerce returning to the stage, a figure who is both loved and hated, a figure who splits the nation into 2 warring tribes. Does that sound familiar? But in her later, more obscure readings, she hinted at an ally, a man of iron or a man of lightning who tries to use his wealth and his machines to prop up the falling empire. Look at the United States today. We have the political figure Donald Trump, the man of commerce. Whether you love him or hate him, you cannot deny that he is the most polarizing figure in modern history. He represents a complete break from the establishment. The media attacks him, the legal system hunts him, and yet his support base only grows stronger. This aligns perfectly with the prophecy of a leader who is persecuted by the scribes but worshipped by the villagers. But where does the Iron Man fit in? Enter Elon Musk. In the last few years, we have seen a shift. Musk bought Twitter, now X, explicitly to save free speech. He has aligned himself against the woke mind virus. He has stepped into the political arena, aligning his massive technological power with the man of commerce. Vanga warned that this alliance would happen. She warned that the builders would try to fix the broken foundation. We are watching this play out in real time. We are seeing the weaponization of the justice system, a tactic usually reserved for banana republics, being deployed in the United States. We are seeing a former president mugshotted. We are seeing attempts to remove him from ballots. And standing beside him, amplifying his message, is the Iron Man, Elon Musk, fighting a digital war against censorship. The prophecy suggests that this return of the man of commerce in 2025 is the catalyst. It is the spark that lights the fuse. The establishment is terrified of losing control, and they are willing to burn the house down to keep the keys. Vanga warned that this leader would return, but his return would not bring peace. It would bring the great fracturing. Ask yourself this question and let me know in the comments. Do you feel like the US government is currently serving the people, or does it feel like they are at war with their own citizens? Is the legal system fair, or is it being used to target political opponents? This political chaos is just the distraction. While you are focused on the court cases and the tweets, the ground beneath your feet is crumbling. This brings us to the second prophecy, the economic reckoning. Baba Vanga famously said, "The day will come when people will have no money, but they will be rich in numbers." She predicted a time when paper turns to dust. For decades, people thought she meant communism. But looking at 2025, it is glaringly obvious she was talking about the death of the US dollar and the rise of digital currency. We are living in a nation built on debt. The United States is currently $34 trillion in debt. That number is so big the human brain cannot comprehend it. It is a Ponzi scheme. The Eagle's coin, the US dollar, has been the reserve currency of the world since World War II. It gave America its power, but that power is evaporating. Look at the signs. Inflation is eating your savings alive. The cost of groceries, gas, and housing has skyrocketed. The government tells you inflation is transitory or under control, but your bank account tells the truth. They are printing money to pay for wars in foreign lands, to pay for illegal immigration, and to pay the interest on the debt they created. And while they devalue your hard-earned money, the rest of the world is making a move. The BRICS alliance, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and now many others, are actively working to dethrone the dollar. They are trading in their own currencies. They are buying gold at record rates. Vanga warned of the red dragon to China, overtaking the West economically. She said the new masters would not use weapons at first. They would use debt. And what is the Iron Man doing? Elon Musk is pushing cryptocurrency. He is pushing decentralized finance. He knows the dollar is doomed. He knows that the Federal Reserve is trapping us. The prophecy warns of a transition period where the gold in your hand turns to dust. This could be the implementation of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Imagine a world where the government can track every cent you spend. Imagine if they can turn off your ability to buy food if your carbon footprint is too high or if you support the wrong political candidate. That is not science fiction. That is the technology being built right now. The economic reckoning isn't coming in 10 years. It is here. The banks are failing. The commercial real estate market is imploding. The prophecy says that in 2025 or 2026, the bottom falls out. The illusion of wealth disappears. And when people lose their money, they lose their minds. This leads us directly into the third and perhaps most tragic prophecy: the great fracturing of America. Baba Vanga warned, brother will fight brother. The mothers will abandon their children. The people will be divided by an invisible wall. Does this not send chills down your spine? Look at the United States today. We are not one nation under God anymore. We are two nations hating each other, sharing the same borders. The division isn't just political, it is spiritual. It is cultural. It is a mind virus, as Musk calls it. We are seeing a great sort. People are fleeing blue states like California and New York, moving to red states like Florida and Texas. They are fleeing high taxes, crime, and woke ideology. It is a soft secession. The country is physically separating. But Vanga predicted violence. She predicted that the invisible wall would become a real battlefield. We saw the precursors in the summer of 2020 with cities burning. We saw it on January 6th. We see it in the school board meetings where parents are labeled domestic terrorists for trying to protect their children. The media, the scribes Vanga warned about, fan the flames. They tell you to hate your neighbor because of who they voted for. They tell you that half the country is evil. This is psychological warfare, and it is working. The prophecy suggests that the return of the divisive leader in 2025 will be the breaking point. We could see states refusing to recognize federal authority. We could see a breakdown of the chain of command in the military. The United States is a fragile idea, and Vanga saw it shattering like glass. I want to ask you a serious question. Look around your own community. Do you see this tension? Have you lost friends or family members because of politics? Do you feel like you can't speak your mind anymore? Let me know in the comments below. Yes or no? Do you think a civil war is possible in our lifetime? While the people fight each other, the land itself begins to rebel. This is the fourth prophecy. The earth rebels. Vanga was very connected to nature. She said, the earth will shake where it has never shaken. Fire will come from the sky. The water will consume the land. For years, we dismissed this as generic doom-mongering. But look at the last 24 months. We are seeing unprecedented disasters on a monthly basis. We saw the fires in Maui that incinerated a historic town, leaving behind questions about how the fire spread so selectively. We are seeing atmospheric rivers drowning California. We are seeing tornadoes in places that don't get tornadoes. We are seeing earthquakes in non-seismic zones. The Iron Man wants to go to Mars. Why? Because he calls himself a species insurance policy. He believes Earth is vulnerable. Vanga confirms this vulnerability. She speaks of a shift in the Earth's energy. Some interpret this as a magnetic pole shift, which would cause chaotic weather and expose the surface to more solar radiation. Fire from the sky. But there is a darker interpretation. Vanga hinted at weather manipulation. She hinted that man would try to play God with the clouds. Are these disasters purely natural? Or are we seeing the side effects of geoengineering? Are we seeing the results of cloud seeding gone wrong? The prophecy mentions that nature will not be mocked. As we distract ourselves with political theater, the food supply is being threatened. Farms are being destroyed by floods and fires. Processing plants are mysteriously exploding. If the shelves go empty, the civilization collapses in 3 days. The Iron Man can build rockets, but he cannot make it rain on command. He cannot stop a supervolcano. Vanga's warning is clear. The American empire is distracted by its own ego while the ground beneath it is preparing to swallow it whole. And finally, the fifth and most terrifying prophecy. the one that ties it all together. Global conflict and the red sky. Vanga predicted, the dragon and the bear will hold hands. The great eagle will be plucked. The sky will turn red over the east and the west will burn. The dragon is China. The bear is Russia. The eagle is the United States. For decades, U.S. foreign policy was designed to keep Russia and China apart. But the current leadership has driven them into each other's arms. They are now allies militarily and economically. They are holding joint naval drills off the coast of Alaska. They are supplying each other with weapons. Vanga saw a great war starting not with a bang, but with a whisper. A proxy war. Look at Ukraine. We have sent hundreds of billions of dollars of your money to fuel a meat grinder that is depleting our own ammunition stockpiles. We are fighting Russia via proxy. Look at the Middle East. The conflict in Israel is not just local. It is drawing in Iran, which is backed by Russia and China. It is a trap. The prophecy warns that the U.S. will be overextended. We are trying to police the world while our own borders are wide open. Millions of military-age men have crossed the southern border unchecked. Who are they? We don't know. Vanga warned of the enemy within. She warned of a Trojan horse. While the U.S. military is focused on diversity training and electric tanks, our adversaries are building hypersonic missiles that we cannot stop. The red sky Vanga saw could be the fires of conventional war, or God forbid, it could be nuclear. The Iron Man, Elon Musk, has explicitly warned that we are sleepwalking into World War III. He provided Starlink to Ukraine, but then restricted it because he feared starting a nuclear escalation. He sees the prophecy unfolding. He is trying to pump the brakes. But the machine of war has no brakes. The parallels are undeniable. The pieces are on the board. The divisive leader returns to a fractured nation. The economy collapses under debt. The earth rebels with disaster. And in the chaos, the global conflict begins. It is the perfect storm. It is the fourth turning. But I promised you a pivot. I promised you that this isn't just about fear. Because there is a hidden layer to Vanga's prophecy that the mainstream ignores. She spoke of a great awakening. She said, the truth will rise from the earth. The lies will be exposed like sores. Everything we are seeing, the pain, the chaos, the fear, it serves a purpose. It is a revelation. For decades, the American people have been asleep. We trusted the news, we trusted the banks, we trusted the politicians, we lived in a comfortable illusion. That illusion is dying, and that is a good thing. You are waking up. The fact that you are watching this video proves it. You are questioning the narrative. You are realizing that the conspiracy theorists were just spoiler alerts. The Iron Man may not be able to save the world with technology, but his takeover of the public square has shattered the monopoly on information. The truth is leaking out. We are seeing the exposure of the deep state. We are seeing the exposure of the medical industrial complex. We are seeing the exposure of the financial elites. They are panicking because you are waking up. The chaos you see is not a sign of their strength. It is a sign of their desperation. They know their time is short. The great fracturing is also a great sorting. It is separating the sheep from the lions. It is forcing you to decide what you believe in, what you will stand for, and what you will fight for. The hard times create strong men, and we are entering the hard times. So what do? You do not despair. You prepare. First, you become independent of the system that is failing. If the man of commerce cannot save the dollar, you save yourself. Get out of debt. Own physical assets. Own gold, silver, land, tools. Things that have real value when the digital numbers turn to zero. Second, you build your community. The fracturing means you cannot rely on the federal government to save you. You rely on your neighbors. You rely on your family. Strengthen those bonds. Know who has your back when the lights go out. Third, You guard your mind. The mind virus spreads through fear and hatred. Do not let them manipulate you. Seek the truth, but do not consume the poison. Stay grounded in your faith and your values. Baba Vanga's final warning was not a death sentence. It was a roadmap. She told us where the landmines are so we can step around them. She warned us about the Iron Man and the red sky so we wouldn't be caught sleeping. The year 2025 is fast approaching. The actors are taking their places on the stage. The script is being written. But the ending is not set in stone. The future belongs to those who see it coming. I want to hear from you. This is the most important part of this video. Look at the 5 topics we covered: the leader, the economy, the division, the disasters, the war. Which one of these keeps you up at night? Which one do you think will be the first domino to fall? Leave a comment below. I read every single one. Let's get a conversation going that the algorithm can't ignore. If you found value in this report, if you want to keep uncovering the secrets of the past to protect your future, you know what to do. Smash that like button. It helps us fight the censorship. Share this video with someone you care about, someone who needs to wake up before 2025. And make sure you are subscribed. The world is changing. The sky may turn red, but if we stand together, we will survive the storm. Until next time, keep your eyes open.